Everybody is trying to be loud right now. Everybody is trying to go viral. Everybody is chasing that one moment that will make the internet stop and stare. But somehow in the middle of all that noise, BRYAN, OKWARA and Sonia UCHE are doing the exact opposite and still getting attention without forcing it, without shouting, without doing too much. And that's what is confusing people, because in an industry where drama sells faster than talent, they are choosing calm over chaos and somehow it's working. You scroll through YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and you'll notice something strange. Their clips are not the loudest, not the most dramatic, not the most exaggerated, but they keep showing up. They keep getting views. They keep getting comments, and people can't fully explain why. Because what they are doing is very simple but very intentional. They are letting their presence speak instead of trying to prove anything. And that right there is rare in today's space where everybody feels like they have to outdo the next person just to stay relevant. You'll see actors exaggerating reactions, forcing chemistry, creating unnecessary controversies just to trend. But BRYAN and Sonia step into a scene, and it feels like nothing is being forced, no pressure, no extra energy, just natural flow. And that natural flow is exactly what people are starting to crave again, because deep down, audiences are getting tired of performances that feel like performances. People want something that feels real, something they don't have to question, something that doesn't look like it was designed just to go viral. And that's where these two are quietly winning. Their simplicity is not laziness, it's control, it's confidence, it's knowing that you don't need to overdo anything to be noticed, and that confidence shows in the smallest details, the way they look at each other in scenes, the way they pause instead of rushing lines, the way emotions build slowly instead of exploding instantly. All these little things that most people might overlook are exactly what's pulling viewers in, because when everything else is loud, the calm becomes louder without trying, and fans are beginning to notice this shift. You go into comment sections and you'll see people saying things like, "This feels different," or "This one is too natural," or "Why does this look real?" And that's not something you can fake. That's something that comes from understanding your craft and trusting your presence. And what makes it even more interesting is that they are not even chasing the spotlight aggressively. They are not constantly in your face. They are not creating unnecessary buzz. Yet somehow they remain part of the conversation, and that's because when people find something that feels genuine, they hold onto it, they replay it, they share it, they talk about it, and before you know it, something that wasn't even loud becomes a quiet trend. And that's exactly what is happening here. Their simplicity is becoming their biggest advantage, because while others are busy trying to be seen, they are being remembered. And there's a big difference between those two. Being seen is temporary, being remembered is what keeps you relevant. And right now BRYAN, OKWARA and Sonia UCHE are building that kind of presence that doesn't fade quickly, it grows slowly, it spreads quietly, and it lasts longer. And if you really pay attention, you'll notice that their scenes don't rely on heavy background music, dramatic cuts or exaggerated expressions to carry emotion. The emotion is already there. It sits in the silence, it sits in the pauses, it sits in the simplicity, and that's something a lot of actors struggle to achieve because it requires restraint. And restraint is hard in an industry that rewards loudness, but they are proving that less can actually be more, and fans are responding to that in a big way. Even if it's not always obvious at first glance, because not every trend comes with noise, some trends move quietly, some trends build slowly, some trends don't announce themselves. They just appear everywhere without warning, and that's the kind of wave they are riding right now, a silent wave that keeps growing. And the funny part is that people are starting to compare their simplicity to others without even realizing it. You'll see comments like, "This is how it should be," or "No stress, just real acting." And those comments say a lot because they show that the audience is shifting, the taste is changing. People are no longer impressed by who can shout the loudest or act the most dramatic. They are starting to appreciate who can make them feel something without trying too hard. And that's exactly what BRYAN and Sonia are delivering, a feeling that doesn't feel forced, a connection that doesn't look scripted, and moments that feel like they just happened naturally. And that natural feeling is what keeps pulling people back, because once you watch something that feels real, it's hard to go back to something that feels exaggerated, and this is where their simplicity becomes powerful. It sets them apart without them even trying to stand out. It creates a contrast between them and the rest of the industry, and that contrast is what catches attention, not through noise, but through difference, and difference is what creates curiosity. And curiosity is what drives engagement, so even though they are not being loud, they are still winning in a space that usually rewards noise. And that tells you something important about where things are going. The industry is slowly shifting. Audiences are evolving, and what used to work before is not always what works now. People want something they can connect to, something that doesn't feel like it's trying too hard to impress them, and that's why their simplicity is not just a style. It's becoming a strategy, whether intentional or not, and the more people notice it, the more it grows, the more it spreads, the more it influences what others start to do, because trends don't always come from the loudest voices, sometimes they come from the most consistent ones, the ones that stay true to a certain style and let the audience catch up. And that's exactly what is happening here. They are not chasing the trend, they are becoming the trend slowly, quietly and steadily. And if you look at how their clips are circulating, how people are reacting, how conversations are forming around them, you'll realize that this is not just random attention, it's a pattern, a growing pattern of people appreciating simplicity in a space that has been too loud for too long. And once that pattern becomes strong enough, it changes things, it shifts expectations, it creates a new standard, and suddenly what used to feel normal starts to feel too much. And what used to feel simple starts to feel special, and that's where they are right now, sitting in that space where simplicity feels special.